Going to the beginning, it's perfectly fine to use an open string. Notice that I'm playing the half notes long. So play the quarter notes in this entire excerpt, or this entire piece, play the quarter note short wherever you can, and then anything that is a long note, half note or whole note, play it long. It'll add to the excitement of the piece. Go to rehearsal B, 2 measures before. These are short notes. So make sure you play them nice and short, and then have a crescendo going into the A. And make sure you play the A with a long stroke. And then follow that with, again, quarter notes. Next thing that I want to show you is the measure 41, or measure 40, I mean. In measure 40, do a little trick here. And since you have to play octaves, use your second finger to mute, hold down and mute the D string in between. That way it doesn't make strange noises while you're doing the octaves. And also notice the economy of motion. Use as little arc as possible. The last little tip I can give you on this first page before I get into the fingerings is measure 72. And I'll do this slowly, and if you can watch my bow placement starting at measure 70, notice how I move my bow a little bit closer to the bridge. And this is in order to give it a nice sound on the slur, but also to get it ready for the crescendo. Crescendo starts here, go to the C sharp on the G string. And notice how I'm already in the right spot for the FZ because I've already moved my bow closer to it a couple of measures before. A lot of the left hand, what appear to be left hand technical challenges are really not as difficult as you might think on this piece. The bass part is very, very idiomatic, and if you use the fingerings that I suggest to you, you'll find that the left-hand execution will be a lot more efficient, and you'll be able to play a little bit faster and cleaner because you won't have to shift nearly as much, and you will be able to leverage harmonics and open strings. All right, let's start first with measure 56, because I know that's where everyone is probably looking. Find your D harmonic on first finger. This gives you a very grounded feeling because you are in a very familiar hand position, 7th position, according to the Simandl nomenclature. So it's very easy to find because you've got harmonics on the first finger. And then if you stretch your 3rd finger out, you will have your A natural. And also if you stretch your finger out on the D string, you'll have your E natural. Nothing too unusual about that. But you'll notice that I have swung my thumb over. Normally you don't use the thumb below the harmonics that I'm pressing with my first finger. Normally being, for some reason, bass players don't like to do it. However, it's very easy to find. The F sharp is very easy to find because it's right below the G. It's a half step away. Since your thumb isn't doing anything anyway, because you can't put it behind the neck block keeps you from using the thumb behind the neck, then might as well put it to good use. So put it a half step below the G natural, and that'll be your first note. Find it. Then I'll go through the fingering one note at a time. F sharp on the thumb, 3rd finger on the E natural, F sharp on the thumb, 3rd finger on the high A, thumb on the F sharp, 3rd finger on the E natural, 1st finger on the D, it's a harmonic, thumb on the F sharp again, 1st finger on the D, a harmonic, and this gives you time because it's ringing, to shift to the fourth finger on B natural in fourth position, Semano fourth position. Then you follow that up with A natural on the first finger. And you just cross the string for the D, back to the A natural on the D string. Then use your open string to give you time to shift to the very familiar first position that you all know. Another important thing with measure 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, all the eighth notes that everyone is preoccupied with. Another thing you've got to make sure, especially if you use the fingering that I suggest, is to use a lot of economy of motion on your string crossings, which means don't use any more string crossing arc than is necessary. This is especially true for you German bow players. I'm not really moving my bow very much when I go from the lower string to the higher string. You shouldn't also. If you use more arc than is necessary, it slows you down. You won't be able to play it as fast. So use a minimal bow arc from string to string. Here it is at the faster tempo. Another place where you can use a clever fingering is after rehearsal B. Measure 30, pick up to rehearsal 30. I'll go through that really slow. You saw it in my demo. For the pickup F sharp, first finger, then go to second finger on the A natural on the D string, first finger on the C sharp, and shift as high as you can on the first finger, E natural on the first finger, stretch for the F sharp on fourth finger, and then come back to fourth position and play a harmonic for the high A. Then jam your fourth finger on the D string all the way up for the C sharp. First finger on the E, fourth finger on the F sharp on the A string, and then you're home free. So those are some trick fingerings that you can use.